Hallo, ich bin Joscha von Smartzone und ich habe hier neben mir Leon. Leon ist der CEO von Timekettle. Timekettle ist ein Unternehmen, das smarte Übersetzungsprodukte herstellt. Und wir führen jetzt ein kleines Interview. Wenn ihr des Englischen nicht mächtig seid, könnt ihr einfach die Untertitel auf YouTube aktivieren. Thank you, Leon, for taking the time to talk with us. We have seen your presentation. It was very interesting to see your new product. It's called W4 Pro. W4 Pro, yes. And for the viewers who don't know your company, could you briefly introduce Timekettle to us?
Timekettle is a company that dedicated to, break language barriers. So this thing are being done by many companies. They try the different ways, but I think the most unique thing about our company is that we always focus on communication instead of just translation. Because communication is people's human nature, but translation is not. It's just like you use the camera or you want to record. I think the record is the real need. So we think that communication is the future, and we build different hardwares and software together. It's an integrated solution for like tourists, for businessmen, for enterprise. So normally, people would like to have a real conversation. If you want to have a real conversation with your friend, your family, your business partners, that's where we can help.
Okay, interesting. And if I imagine to be somebody who doesn't know your products at all, I would think, why don't I just use a translator app? Why don't I just use my phone? Could you explain to us a little bit about the advantages that users get if they use your product?
Yes, that's a good question. From the beginning, I have to emphasize that there are different scenarios about bilingual or cross-language communication. If you are the one who only like doing some asking directions, very short conversation, you just use the translation app, or even you can type something to show to the other one. So what we are good at is that if you want to have a relatively longer conversation, for example, if you got things stolen in a foreign country, you have to go to the police. If you want to have a friendly chat with someone you met when you're like hiking Mount Everest, this kind of scenario is very hard to accomplish when you're using like just translation app, because you have hold things back and forth. It's inefficient and very awkward. So what we want to make a change is that less embarrassment, but more connections. So the reason we use the earbud is because it's more natural, because you can hear and speak without like operating and holding things back and forth. And that will make a change. It seems quite simple, but actually it contains many technologies. You have to make it happen. That's where I introduce, the evolution way, all the way we are doing making our efforts. So I think after all, in summary, the basic it's on what your scenario is. If it's for longer conversation, our earbud, our interpreter earbud will be a much better experience. That's why, and that's where we suggest you can use it.
How many years of research and development went into the product?
Our company established in 2016, and the first generation of our product took about like nearly 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, for the first, because everything is, it's never been focused, and the technology hasn't been developed.
Yes.
So nearly everything we have to do by ourselves. But at that time, we're still a very small tech startup with about like 5 people at that time.
Yeah.
So the first thing is to focus on a technology that hasn't been overcome, but it's essential for people's experience. But later, when we are growing faster and bigger, and we are able to do more things to make this faster pace.
Yes, interesting. In the beginning, when I went to China the first time, I also tried to translate stuff, of course, with my phone. I tried Google, I tried like every translator. And back then, the translation, for example, from German to Chinese was just horrible. Like it was not at all.
When?
That was 2019, 2018. Was not with your product. It was just, I tried translator apps.
Which city?
Shenzhen.
Oh,
yes.
That's where we located.
Cool. Yeah, Shenzhen. It's a great city. And I think now in the last years, the translation capabilities have progressed immensely. I guess part of it is going about AI technology. Would you agree on that?
Of course. What do you think? What do you say? I think is like according to the large language model, this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It significantly increased the ability of understand the natural language. So from LLM, the translation accuracy will be better. But what really differs is not about the accuracy itself, but the fluid express the ideas. So the difference. It's more like a verbal. Actually, if you compare to an official translation, you will find that a traditional translate by like Google or DeepL. Do you know DeepL?
Sure.
I think it's a German company.
Yeah, it's a German company.
Yeah, it's a great company.
Company. Yeah.
So for traditional translation for like papers or this kind of very formal words, it won't make a big difference actually with LLM or traditional neural network.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about more verbal or dialogue conversation, like, will be much faster because much better because it can work according to the context.
Yes, it can understand the context.
Yeah,
and you make small mistakes during speaking naturally.
Yeah, we can fix.
Yeah,
that's where's the difference. So for us, of course, because you can easily find that we're mainly focused on conversations, not about like just translate the website or reading some papers. Yeah. So for us, of course, the large language model is a lot better than it used to be.
Okay.
So we are also working with like Google, OpenAI together to make this whole solution have a better experience.
Okay, that's one thing that interests me in this particular area is from this big AI community which develops a lot of models in a very short time. What are your sources? Like you said you work with OpenAI and you said you work with Google. Are there, for example, open source models you also use, or did you train a model yourself?
Yes.
Yeah. Could you?
Actually, it's we have a basic principle of R&D is that we mainly focus on what makes our users feel much better. Because there are plenty of companies are what we call reinventing the wheels all the time. So it's wasting like resources and energies. But the reason we train the model ourselves is because when you go into some minority languages, for example, Vietnamese to Arabic, you take that for example, you will find the translation was horrible, even for LLM, because there is little company focused on that. And that is where we put our efforts on for the first thing. And the next thing is, if we're talking about like conversations, this large language model is mainly focused on like human to machine interaction. Ask questions for the generation, for the AIGC, this kind of stuff. But what if you're not talking to a machine? You're not asking for an article. You're talking to the friend, someone you love. And are there any company focused on that? I think it's very few.
Very few. Okay.
So that makes a difference. And also the reason we can also keep cooperating with other companies is that because we are providing the solution to the end user. We're not like competing with Microsoft and OpenAI to do the platform ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's why even we're doing our model ourselves, they are still very happy to work together.
Yeah.
Because in the end, I think the common model will be provided just like you are using like Google Map, this kind of stuff. You can easily find it's not easy to gain profit directly from the map app, right? No one will pay for that. But it's still very essential because if you're using like Uber, if you're using Uber without map, it doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
You cannot easily find each other by the drivers. But does it mean that Uber have to develop the map themselves?
Yeah.
Doesn't need.
Yeah.
But sometimes it still differs because when the Uber find that we can do a little bit adjustment that makes the calling taxi service, the experience will be better. I think so. So that's where they can put their efforts on. So that's basically the same principle for us, is that we have to think about whether we can make a real big difference. If not, we're just reinventing the wheels. If so, we will put our efforts on. The other thing is sometimes we have to think about the future if we want to have a much better experience. For example, people are talking about specific word names, for example, your names, his names. If you're in normal conversation by translation, you will feel that there are so much errors.
Oh yeah.
And
sure.
That is what we call personalized model. And that's also some places we're going.
Very interesting. If I take the translation from your device, it will translate right now the content of the speech to me, but it will not add like paralinguistic features like tonality, expression. It couldn't translate that I might be angry, for example, or that I might talk sadly. Do you think that will come in the next years, maybe?
Yes, that's what we're looking for. One of the interesting features is voice cloning.
Yeah.
Because everyone, you might
voice cloning. Oh, that's great for your product. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
That's the good question. You said great for our product is because you can easily understand when it comes to communication.
Yeah.
If you only talk about like translation from the app, you don't have the needs for that. But if you're talking to another real person, you always want him that he can hear your voice in other languages. So that's basically normal, very normal to us because we see this needs for years ago, not only from the LLM, from the GPT. So what you said is like the expressions, the motions, the emotions, and the everything besides the language. And because that's where we call it communication.
Yeah, I see. Cool. For Timekettle, your business, which are the markets that are like your biggest markets right now? Is it in China, or how is Europe? How's Germany?
Right now, to be honest, the biggest market is still in the US.
In the US? Oh.
Actually, we start from the US market.
Okay.
And China has been, I think, the second or third largest.
Yeah.
In Europe, we hopefully for like the fourth or because we're still a small company, so it's not so stable and everything comes up and down. But the reason we are here is obvious. We want to expand the European market. And I think the first station, you cannot go around beside Germany. You always have to look at all this.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. All right. Thank you very much for taking the time. I will say
thank you.
Some few words in German and then ja, also ich denke, das war auf jeden Fall ein sehr interessantes Interview und man merkt auch einfach auch an seinem Fachwissen, würde ich sagen, dass das hier nicht einfach nur eine Firma ist, die da irgendeine Google Translate oder sowas in ihre Geräte reinhaut, sondern dass da wirklich einiges an Entwicklungsarbeit dahinter steckt. Und wir haben auch Demonstrationen gesehen von den Übersetzungen, die auch wirklich beeindruckend gewesen sind. Thank you very much, Leon, for taking the time to talk with us. I wish you good luck, and I'm excited to test out your products, definitely.
Yeah.
And let's see what the future brings.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.